Hello and welcome to the Porsche Cup lap guide here for week number 8 here on iRacing. You're watching the Coach Dave Academy YouTube channel, and this is going to be a lap guide by myself, William Chadwick. We're going to go through kind of the key tips, tricks, where you need to brake, where you don't need to brake, where you need to just send it really hard. Just about this car in general, talk about what to do when driving and get you a little bit faster for the week and hopefully win some races. You're going to see a little bit about the format. You're going to see a hot lap now, and then a lap guide where we'll talk more in depth about the lap. But I'm about to go to the hot lap. I hope you enjoy it.
Lap of the session. Just set your fastest lap of the session.
Hello and welcome to the lap guide. Now, you've just watched a hot lap. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you didn't think I was too toasted. So now we're going to go through some of the key pointers, some places I could improve on my lap, some places I think in general are really key areas to look out for and gain some time. And yeah, just a few pointers on the lap in general, really. So we're starting off our lap here at Circuit Jerez. I think it's called, maybe Jerez, I don't know. I don't know how to say the second bit, but we'll ignore it. We're at the moto layout, which I guess is for motorbikes. It just means you ignore the really, really annoying slow chicane at the end of the lap. So it's overall a decent circuit. One thing to be really, really key about here is the all four wheels off the curb is the track limits at every corner. Especially, and if there's no corner, it's the white line. If there's no curb, it's the white line. Important to note because it's really important to exploit that to the best of your ability because it'll gain you so much time rather than just sticking very passive on the track limits as opposed to being quite aggressive. Going into turn number 1, want to open it up as much as possible here. You can open it up more than this, but this is kind of the area that I end up going for. Small lockup on the way in for me, which is suboptimal, but what we do manage to do is get to these little blue bits that are on the inside of the curb. That's your aim for most of the corners here. In regards to a braking point, there's no braking boards really. There's no real place to kind of brake off. Really, your best reference is going to be the curb. So just a bit before the curb comes up, start to build that pressure up like a mountain, like we always talk about. And on the exit, make sure you're using as much as possible. Again, can run as much as to all four wheels or all four contact patches. I'm not sure. Either or. Anyway, going to this corner, we've got a bit of grass that stops us from extending it too much. Down, nice little trail into the corner, getting on these curbs. Again, these curbs are super flat. You're going to have no problem running them. We just treat them as extra tarmac. Here on iRacing, there is little to no difference in the grip of the asphalt and the grip of the curbs. So we're going to basically treat it like it's more track available for us to smoothen out our lines through the corners and carry more speed. So, like I say, kind of a late apex, mainly because we're aiming to straighten out the car for full grip acceleration. Traction around here seems pretty good. It's a pretty high grip surface. Through this little section here, I like to kind of cut the corner a little bit, just saves us a bit of meters and a little bit of lap time at the end of the day. Widening this corner up, again aiming for that blue on the inside. You can go a little bit wider than this, but you want to just have a little lift, get the nose in. Once you feel like it's gripping, commit to full throttle, and then you can go wider here, but the big problem with doing so is that you're then struggling to maybe get back across, or maybe scrubbing the tyres a little bit too much to get back across. At the end of the day, as much as the track we can use, we don't want to be drifting or really pushing the fronts across the surface, visibly sliding. A good way to check if you're really pushing the tyre too hard is if you've got any tyre marks on the ground that visibly leaves tyre marks the car when under a slide or having a lockup or something. I think you might even be able to see that briefly into turn one if we just zoom back quickly. You see that? As I come off the curb, I just lock that inside, that rear right, and you can see a little line comes up. Not very faint. You can just kind of see it there. There you go. Look at it. So, good way to check whether you are pushing the tyre a little bit too hard if you can't quite feel it. Next corner, turn number 5, I don't know, don't ask me. Something like that. Very, very weird corner because you go in and you think, I've met the apex. You'll need to continue to meet the apex for quite a while. It's uphill, it's a bit off camber, and you're really easy to drift to the outside. If you just start to power fully now and go to the outside, you're ending up in the gravel. So you want to keep it on this curve for a reasonably long time, hesitate a little bit on the throttle. When you get it towards the exit, you can just about get it flat. Really careful here not to touch the gravel. Kind of as you touch the gravel as you cross the curb, that's when you're going to get the off track, and you've just got to be careful not to slide it too much. I get a very minor slide, as you can see, by a little bit of a tyre mark from the rear left. Not optimal for a race, but for a quali lap, it's more than fine because we're not really doing it too bad and we've got a straight ahead of us. So, again, use all of that track, power your way down to the next heavy braking zone. Again, open this corner up as much as possible, braking just about 150 is the way that I see it. I've got a little bit of a lock-up here, which did push me a little bit wide, and it was from the front left. Now, what I was still able to do is get onto the inside of the curb, again, using all of those curbs because they're so useful, and get a really nice straight exit. We don't want to worry too much about this runoff here and using all of it because we're really focused on getting right for the next corner to try and do this as flat as possible. I lift like a wimp that I am, and as you can see, I'm comfortably within inside track limits on the exit here. So I think with enough practice, with enough commitment, you can go flat through there, and that'll help you out a lot. Into the next corner, another high-speed corner. I find it quite hard to get the nose in here. The optimum line would be to kind of clip that blue bit again and kind of run that. However, again, decent run out. Tend to be using a higher gear than you think here because we're just trying to, on acceleration, have that kind of traction that we want and not too much power. Kind of always looking in like the green zone for your acceleration or the start of yellow. That's not something to swear by, just kind of a feeling from what I get, and more it depends track on track and corner to corner what gear you want to use, but tend to be here. I think if you were in an LMP car with lots of grip, you'll be in third here. If it was the same gear ratio, same speed, but it was an LMP, you'd be in third because you'd have weight, you'd have enough grip to put down that traction. So it's just a case of driving the car to what its capabilities are. Again, not too worried about the exit here because we're going to pull the car across sharply to get into the next corner. I always feel like this corner, you always miss the apex, right? So turn in a little bit earlier, brake a little bit earlier. Just be careful on that locking. Again, optimal line would be to cut that curve a little bit more. Make sure you're not going too wide on the exit. And I like to turn in as early as possible for this corner because it's super critical to get a nice exit and not ruin the rest of your lap. Now, annoyingly, in many cars, these section of corners are flat. However, the Porsche Cup doesn't like being flat out, so it's not. So you kind of have to balance the throttle a little bit and a little bit on how much you slow down. Again, with practice, with a few hours in, you'll be able to get a better feeling for exactly how much speed and exactly how much you're going to have to lift the car. lift the throttle, not the car, through these corners, and that'll just gain you a little bit on what you see me do here. It's not optimal by any means, but it's, maybe half a tenth, maximum a tenth off through these few corners. Final corner, another heavy braking zone, another bit where we're going to use the track limits and straighten this exit out. Nice peak, start of the mounted braking, trail it in, use all of that inside. So important around here, like we talked about so much. Straighten the exit out, let the car drift out, little bit of a slide, which isn't optimal for a race run because we want to keep those tyre temps down, but over the course of a hot lap, not too bad. And that would be a lap here at Jerez. Just the key pointers is just abuse the curbs. Pretend the curbs are your deepest enemy and that you hate them. Get right over them. Use all the track limits to your advantage as much as possible, and have fun. Have fun is the most important thing at the end of the day. And if you're not having fun, quit. Don't quit, but enjoy yourself. That's the message. Well, that was a lap guide done then for the Porsche Cup here at Virginia. No, that was last week. Circuit Jerez, the moto layer here on iRacing. Again, making sure I've said it at the end of the lap guide. Abuse the curbs. Really do extract as much as possible out the track limits here, and just kind of just really try and smoothen those corners out as much as possible, getting as much out of the tyre as you can. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. It's somewhere down here. I don't know where I am. We'll see. I don't know. But subscribe to the channel. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Please do post comments from any suggestions you might have. I do read them and try my best to take on the feedback that you guys are giving me. Thank you so much for the support, especially on this series. And do remember, in the description, there is the links to the website. There is the links to the Discord. You can come and get some coaching, maybe get the setups that we provide for ACC and iRacing, and have some more fun on this fantastic simulator. It's a simulator, not a game, as some people would be very passionate about. But thank you for watching, and until week 9, goodbye.